There you see Kendo Nagasaki, the Dragon Master, along with his partner, the Dark Ninja. Now, we have not been told who the partner of Sweet Stan Lane is. Joe Pedicino found out, and now the crowd is going to find out. So are we.
The Louisville Slugger, Mr. Jim Cornette.
Well, I think we'll let Mr. Cornette handle the introductions as he usually does.
What a team.
All right, Rednecks, rise and shine, and welcome to the ring, the winner of the Global Wrestling Federation Tag Team Tournament, the gangster of love himself, Sweet Stan Lane. Oh, yeah, excuse me, his partner, Steve Cox.
Oh, what an introduction. Come on. Now, from what I understand, Stan Lane wanted to enter this tournament by himself, but the Global Wrestling Federation said, you have to have a partner. So, Steve Cox.
I'll take care of it. Here he comes.
Pardon me for interrupting you, Mr. Cornette.
Shut up over there.
Somebody.
Well, there's the high 10 and Steve Cox. Well, a handshake.
Oh, well, that is absolutely... Hey, say something.
Jim Cornette never ceases to amaze me. To start with, Stan Lane wants to go against the Ninja and Kendo Nagasaki alone. Give me a break. Well, obviously not going alone here as Kendo Nagasaki, the Dragon Master, tries that thrust kick against Steve Cox, who is starting things here. Steve Cox, formerly one half of the World Class Tag Team Champions with Michael Hayes. Nagasaki, a legend in Japan. Those two men face off in the middle of the Global Wrestling Federation ring. The Dragon Master Kendo Nagasaki, a former corporate executive, if you will, in the JTEX Corporation, along with Gary Hart, the great Muta, Buzz Sawyer, a few years ago. Now going to work on Cox, picks him up, sends him down, and Steve Cox taking a beating courtesy of the Dragon Master, Kendo Nagasaki. Oh. Cox with a beautiful clothesline on Nagasaki. Gets him with a forearm. And Steve Cox is hardly a weak link in this team of Jim Cornette. With his partner, Stan Lane. Steve Cox is an accomplished wrestler, has held numerous tag team titles. He's a tag team wrestler, and he's going to just belittle Steve Cox by throwing it off to him in the ring instead of giving a big send-up introduction he gave Sweet Stan. Here we see Stan Lane in the ring, the tag by Nagasaki into the Dark Ninja. As mysterious as all ninjas are, don't know much about the Dark Ninja, other than the fact that Nagasaki seems to put a lot of trust in him. Absolutely. You remember the last man that Nagasaki brought to the United States was the great Muta. And we know what he can do. But he's in there against somebody who can, I don't know if he can match him move for move in the martial arts, but he can come pretty darn close to that Sweet Stan. Dan spends a lot of time working on the finer points of the martial arts. Lane ducks out under the rope to get a breather. Leg trip. Half Nelson pulls him over, but the Dark Ninja rolls it into a hammerlock. And Lane will escape by using the rope. Interesting, we should have James Beard as a referee, who is not going to buy that story. But James Beard, a very respected official in Japan for the UWF and for FMW in Japan. It's good that he's in there with these two martial arts experts. Maybe something will come up where referee James Beard's experience will help him where another referee may not know what to do with that situation. Thrust by Lane into the throat of the Dark Ninja. Sends him in to the ropes. And Stan Lane says, I have things in control all by myself. Going into the mask, Cornette cheering his team on. Really? Sure looks like it. I can't tell how much he's cheering Steve Cox here, but it's going to take that link of Cox and
the tag team title.
Absolutely. Steve Cox is... There's a good example of how good a wrestler Steve Cox is the Ninja is dropped like a bad habit down there.
He says go after the eye, but Cox will tag into Stan Lane. Cox more versed in the scientific and stick by the rules type wrestling, while Stan Lane has broke just about every rule in the book. Stan Lane rather wary.
And there's Jim Cornette giving advice to Steve Cox. Boy, that is the blind leading the 2020 sighted right there.
Taken from the Dark Ninja into Kendo Nagasaki. The elbow from the Dragon Master. Sends Lane in high elevation. And Lane comes down there. He wanted to come down a little bit differently.
Take a look at Stan Lane. He knows he's in there with a Dragon Master, a master of martial arts. And Kendo Nagasaki knows that Lane can't match him move for move.
Cornette wants Cox to go in and break this up. And Cox just won't do it.
Cornette's losing control at ringside like he ever had any.
Steve Cox taking over with the arm drag. Now in control of the left arm is Kendo Nagasaki. Throws him out. Now Nagasaki doesn't necessarily have to play by the rules.
He certainly does not. He's had a long career of not playing by the rules, and if Steve Cox and Stan Lane want to play rough, Kendo Nagasaki will go right at it with you.
Throws Cox back into the ring. Nagasaki, known as the Dragon Master, coming down with the knee. Cornette and Lane look a little bit upset. The Dark Ninja comes in. What's called by the Ninja? Cox taking the word of the team from Japan.
Oh,
the Ninja gets the best of that clothesline. Cox able to get the shoulder up.
Almost like a simultaneous clothesline there, but just by the luck of falling on top of Steve Cox, did the Ninja get that count.
Cox gets a hold of the Ninja, sends him in for Stan Lane. Gets the tag, and Cox goes out. Not keeping him in the ring. Lane showing a little bit of the martial arts there with a couple of thrust kicks. Pulls him down with a clothesline, although it looked like the Dark Ninja was trying to get out of this situation now. Lane picks him up, double thrust to the throat. That'll take the wind out of him. Now just some brawling right hands by Stan Lane. Cornette enjoying what he sees. The body slam by Stan Lane. Nagasaki comes in from behind.
You could hear that all the way up here at our announcer's position, Craig.
Cox comes in, clotheslines for Dark Ninja. Roll over by Stan Lane. Count of three, Steve Cox saves the match.
The second of the match, Stan Lane and Steve Cox.
Steve Cox saves the day with a clothesline. Let's take a look at it again as Cox comes in. Gets the clothesline and saves the day, and there you see Steve Cox left behind. Back with more.
Steve Simpson and Chris Walker.
Steve Simpson and Conan Chris Walker making their way around ringside. They've got a tough test in the first round. John Tatum and the California Stud.
California Stud looks like he's slimmed up a little bit, has really firmed up his midsection and toned up his chest. And so a toned up, more muscular California Stud is going to make an even tougher opponent for Chris Walker and or Steve Simpson.
Conan Chris Walker getting set to face off against Hollywood John Tatum. No, I think Steve Simpson. No. After you, sir. It'll be Chris Walker against John Tatum to get this first round action underway.
Oh, there's a look at Conan Chris Walker, formerly one half of the Georgia All-Star Tag Team Champions, along with Fabian. And now get a load of John Tatum. What a piece of work this guy is. Look at already. We're not a minute into the match, and we're getting the facial display of all time.
The purveyor of the bionic cow, trying to take some of the facial features away from Conan Chris Walker. Walker over the top 2 times and just nails him with a shoulder block there.
Boy, he gets really high on those leapfrogs. He was up into the lights here at the Global Dome.
Chris Walker tagging with a gentleman who has held many tag team titles.
Oh, no.
It could be a tag team pout there, I guess.
Oh, please. Well,
the team from California, I know Californians can sometimes act a little weird, but whatever floats your boat.
what is he crying about? What has happened that's upset this guy?
Taking a look at the biography of Hollywood John Tatum, claims to be a 4-year letterman on the USC golf and tennis team.
Right.
Why don't I believe that? Tatum with a leapfrog. Tatum with a leapfrog again. And the shoulder block by Walker takes Tatum down. Walker ready for Tatum to get back up, but I don't think Tatum is. There you see the California stud. Stay in there, Mr. Tatum, as the fans getting behind the team of Walker and Simpson.
Almost looked like Chris Walker was just kind of folding his arms, waiting for John Tatum to do something.
And what he did was tag in the California stud.
He's either got a fish or cut bait in there. He's going to cry about it before he makes his decision.
Battle of 2 muscular men as they roll around the ring and into the corner. No, they bypass the corner. The shot by the stud. Misses with a clothesline. Misses with a clothesline. The other side. Cross body block. Oh, onto the top rope. The stud places the throat of the man known as Conan.
Almost a hot shot there as Chris Walker draped across that top rope, and that'll take the steam out of anybody.
The tag into John Tatum. 2 boots to the chin.
Wow.
And instead of a hug of consolation, hug of victory possibly. And look at his slapping. Steve Simpson just trying to get him in. But all it does is allow a double team to occur. Right here, over the top rope goes Chris Walker.
That's not a DQ, but when you have 2 men throwing you over the top and you have no control of where you're going, that's going to take something out of you. And Chris Walker having it handed to him by this team of John Tatum and the California stud. We saw John Tatum play that mental game of antagonizing Steve Simpson to drag him into the ring. The referee quite correctly taking Simpson out of the action, but while he's distracted, Tatum and the California stud double team Walker, and now look where we are.
Double clothesline as the stud and Tatum take down Conan Chris Walker, who has been in the bout since the opening bell. Quite an evenly matched first round matchup in the Global Wrestling Federation Tag Team Tournament.
Well, I tell you, with John Tatum strutting around the ring with his gut poking out, I wonder if his water's about to break.
The California stud going to work on Chris Walker. Walker wanting to tag the stud, coming around with the left. Now has him almost taunting him, allowing him to see a Russian leg sweep. Goes over. The count of 1, 2 is the count by Sean O'Brien.
And Craig, just like in the television title tournament won by the Patriot, the light heavyweight tournament won by the Lightning Kid, this tag team tournament, only the cream of the crop in tag teams. Many, many applicants, only 24 teams selected.
Sunset flip attempt by Chris Walker. Tatum losing his balance, but gets the tag. Tatum holding onto the foot of Chris Walker as the stud takes him down. The tag team tournament to fill the vacant crowns held by the English Lords over in Europe.
Gut-wrench
suplex.
Unbelievable.
In stereo, if you will.
Very much stereo there. But good strength shown on the part of the California stud as Walker was fighting to avoid that gut wrench also. Stud got him on over.
The team of Tatum and Price have been successful in keeping Walker in the ring since the opening bell.
Oh.
Both men hearing bells now.
Absolutely.
Cheering for Chris Walker to get back to the corner and tag in the freshman, Steve Simpson out of South Africa.
The referee's count is underway. First man to his feet. The referee stops the count. The first man to his feet arguably will get the tag. And there is John Tatum. He tags in the California stud. Can Walker get over? Yes, he can.
The crowd coming alive as Simpson going to work on both members of the team from California. All right for Tatum. Now all four men in the ring. Tag team action in the GWF, raking the eyes is Hollywood John Tatum. Simpson going to work on the stud but from behind. It's John Tatum. A trip over the top rope. Wow.
Did Simpson hit his head on that hard concrete floor just outside of the mat? If he did, we may not see Steve Simpson anymore.
Tatum getting ready for one of his Oriental kicks, and hits Price. The stud goes down. Simpson climbs up. Comes down right on top, and the California stud holds him up. Count of three.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winners of the match, Chris Walker and Steve Simpson.
A pat on the back for Conan. We're back with more.
Hi, everybody. It's time for more news from the newsroom. I'm Joe Pedicino, and we're backstage at the Global Dome. We'll be going back out to more great action from the Global Dome. But first, it's time to take a look at things that are happening in the world of professional wrestling. Chris Love, what is he trying to pull? He pulls a fast one in the tag team tournament. But will he get away with it? He enters both of his men as separate teams. Then they, as we've seen, and now he says they will continue on in the tournament. I am being told that the GWF is taking a close look at that situation. They may just have some news for Chris Love, and he just may not be too happy about it. Speaking of teams in the tournament, Walker and Simpson are a very dynamic team. They defeated one of the top seeds in the team of John Tatum and the California Stud. The team of Walker and Simpson have great bodies, great skills, great minds. They seem to think alike. They are going to be a team that is hard to beat. Well, we talked yesterday about the Royal family and their entrance into this team, this tag team tournament. I told you that their attitude seems to be a lot different. I couldn't agree more after seeing them now in the tournament. They have really turned into maulers, and as I said, I think they are very, very intent on proving that they are competitors for the Global Tag Team title. We will see today as they try to advance in the tag team tournament. One of the big questions on the minds of wrestling fans all around the world, will Sid Justice actually be impartial at SummerSlam? He is going to be the official referee for the match made in hell. Will he lean one way or the other? That's the big question everybody's been wanting to know. But the thing that worries me is the wedding. Is someone going to try and ruin the wedding of Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth? We'll know in just a few weeks. All right, moving on now, we want to talk about Mike Davis. He's been one of the top stars in the U.S. for years. Now he's been joined by his brother Tom. They call themselves the Dirty Davis Brothers, and I'm going to tell you something. They are going to mean trouble for tag teams everywhere. We'll see you next time from the newsroom.
Bonnie Blackstone here in the Global Zone with another one of our great fans. This is Scott. Scott has been watching the skills of James E. Cornett and Stan Lane. I know that you have a question for gentleman James E.
Yeah, why did you choose Steve Cox to be Stan Lane's partner?
All All right, that's a very good question. And later on in this edition here in the Global Wrestling Federation, I'm going to be talking with hopefully Stan Lane and James E. Cornette, and I'm going to ask why Steve Cox has been chosen for the new partner here in the GWF.
Royal family, obviously, with no etiquette or protocol involved here. They just like beating people up.
They can't even spell those words, Craig, I don't think. Probably can't even say them. And the royal family,
Wacky.
very much so. Individually, Rip Morgan, Jacko Victory. And we just saw Hollywood John Tatum in a losing effort with his new partner, the California Stud. Jack Victory and John Tatum were at one time UWF Tag Team Champions as well as Wild Wild West Tag Team Champions.
And as a matter of fact, it was losing those tag team championships that, well, I still don't know what this is all about, that made Jack Victory go away from the American work ethic, as he says, and join Rip Morgan, went over to New Zealand, won the tag team championships over there, and got this new absolute mauling style that Rip Morgan is showing here.
Rip Morgan, certainly the powerhouse of this team. Look at Chaz.
Chaz trying to take him down with a drop kick. Morgan seemingly unaffected.
I'd like to see Rip Morgan try that maneuver.
Give you an idea how big the royal family is. Morgan at 6'4.5", 270 pounds, going against Chaz, who, although usually a light heavyweight contender, can take on the big guys, but not right now.
I understand that Rip Morgan was thrown off of his college rugby team. Am I reading that correctly?
As a matter of fact, he played a few games for the All Blacks over in New Zealand, and they didn't like him too much there. Jacko Victory comes in here. Victory with a body slam on Chaz. Jacko Victory, 6'3", 278 pounds, born in Atlantic City, New Jersey, but has become expatriated from the United States of America.
That's all right. I didn't know he was Catholic.
Oh, that's excommunicated. Your thesaurus is on the blink. Here comes Terry Garvin. Down onto the arm of Jacko Victory.
Oh, big forearm.
Those elbow pads are usually there to protect the person wearing them. Victory misses there as he hits just above the elbow pad. Garvin going to work on Jacko. Jacko may be a little bit loony after that.
He was a little bit loony before that.
Well, he kept his head about him there. Terry Garvin going to the net.
Both Terry Garvin and Chaz had very successful appearances in the light heavyweight tournament here on Supercard over the last few weeks. And they're teaming up to possibly a result of a friendship struck during that light heavyweight tournament.
Garvin didn't see that truck. Get the license plate number there. The royal family, who used to actually be favorites of the kids with Little Lord Littlebrook, now nothing doing here. As these two men literally like to beat up on people, but the one thing you have to remember in a tournament situation, you have to get the pin, submission, or count out. You can't afford to be disqualified.
Not at all. That'll kick you out of the tournament just as quick as anything. And these two men know it. These two men aren't rookies. Speaking of the royal family, they know how to work their way through a tournament. They've competed in various tournaments.
Morgan to the rope, comes down on the back of Terry Garvin. The royal family have been teaming together for 4 years. Both men 6-year veterans of the sport. Garvin seeing a little bit of the experience coming down right on both sides of his head.
You'll remember that the royal family fought in the Pat O'Connor Memorial Tag Team Tournament in December of 1990. the New Zealand representatives.
As well they should be, being the reigning New Zealand Tag Team Champions. Double backdrop sends Garvin down to the mat. Chaz has seen about enough. But Sean O'Brien keeping order in there, as tough as it may be, with the royal family double teaming here. Victory picks up Garvin, has a hold of him, carries him around the ring. And that bear hug, absolutely doing what it's supposed to, putting the pressure, cutting off the breathing, and also going to work on the lower back. Speaking of the lower back, chiropractic help courtesy of Jacko.
You could hear that all the way up here.
The boot to the midsection by Rip Morgan. Morgan with Garvin into the corner. Who? I don't know who. What is he always saying? I never understand that. Garvin tries to get him over with the sunset flip. Morgan fights out of it and just comes down on the forehead.
Went through a little display there before he put it to Garvin.
Terry Garvin goes back into the bear hug. Garvin, not the kind of a man who would submit.
Standing in the back of the Global Dome, I happened upon the royal family. Rip Morgan approached me and asked me if, he said, well, he approached me and said, oh, you're Scott, you're Craig's brother, right? I said, no, I'm not. And Jacko chimed in and said, no, that's Bill Watts' son.
Oh.
And so I gave up and went to the concession stand.
Not giving up here is Terry Garvin. Look at the right. Land right on the jaw. Out. Well, that'll stop you even if you're going well.
That'll take the starch out of your shorts real quick, especially from somebody the size of Rip Morgan.
Morgan with a weight advantage here of almost 50 pounds. And putting most of that weight onto the neck of Terry Garvin. Garvin, a former tag team champion, is a member of Beauty and the Beast, a time that he would much rather forget, however.
He does have great hair, though.
Morgan comes down, but Garvin out of the way. Garvin needs the tag to Chaz badly. Garvin has been in the ring now more than 7 minutes. Gets the tag into Chaz. Chaz flies in and goes to work on Victory. Garvin has a little fight left in him. He goes after Morgan, all 4 men in the ring. Morgan dumps out Garvin. Victory misses with a clothesline. Chaz is there. Gets the Sabat kick. Goes up to the top rope. Gets the cross body block. Victory catches him. Puts him down. Gets the count of 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the match, the Royal Family.
The Royal Family, the New Zealand Tag Team Champions, going after the GWF title.
Well, we know them as Bad Boy Billy Black and the Outlaw Joel Deaton, but in Japan, they're calling them the Wild Bunch. They have just won the All-Asian Invitational Tag Team Tournament, and they come to the Global Wrestling Federation with credentials out the wazoo. We have got Bad Boy Billy Black and Outlaw Joel Deaton.
You know, Joe Pedicino, like you just said, we just got back from Japan, and people, let me tell you, the road's rough over there. Global Federation over here is the new kid on the block. It's a major organization. The Bad Boy and the Outlaw are going to be coming here in this tag team tournament. And people, let me tell you, we can show you a whole lot better than we can tell you just exactly what we can do out there in that ring. Tell them, Billy.
Well, they call you the Wild Bunch.
That's because when it comes to getting down and getting crazy in that ring, we know how to get wild and crazy. So all you got to do is step your rump in the ring and lace your boots up tight, because we'll knock them off of you.
All right, they're the Wild Bunch, and they are entered in the Global Tag Team Tournament. They could be the first team ever to be the All-Asian Tag Team Champions and the Global Tag Team Champions at the same time.
here in the Global Dome. Bonnie Blackstone back with you once again. I've been joined with the gangster of love and the mouth of the South, as he's known, Jim Cornette. We're talking with some of our fans earlier today, and they want
that must have been interesting.
why you chose Steve Cox to be Stan Lane's partner.
Once again, these feeble-minded rednecks out here, I didn't choose Steve Cox. The Global Wrestling Federation chose Steve Cox. I said Stan Lane wanted into the tournament, wanted to be the World Tag Team Champion all by himself. He's the king of tag team wrestling. They said they couldn't let Stan Lane wrestle by himself, so we said, get anybody you got that ain't got a partner. We'll take anybody to the top. We'll make him a champion, and that's exactly what they did with Steve Cox. So all I got to say to you, Cox, is just stay put. We'll make you a star. Right, Stan?
Let me be very brief and say this, young man, Steve Cox. Keep your eyes open, your mouth shut, and your ears open, and I'll make you a big star, young man.
Let me tell you something. Stan Lane's been to the top so many times he gets nosebleeds, brother, and he is going to make Steve Cox the World Tag Team Champion, although he doesn't really deserve it.
Maybe this helps to answer some of your questions.
Yeah, okay.
And Wet and Wild! It's beach ball time at the Global Dome.
Hey.
Wet and Wild, there you see. Sunny Beach. His partner also making his way into the ring, the Wild Thing, Steve Ray. Hot fun in the summertime.
There's the Wild Thing, Steve Ray, giving a fan a beach ball out there.
Their opponents, El Aztec and Chico Torres. We'll just call him the Aztec to Americanize it a little bit.
Yeah.
Steve Ray to get things started off. Extends the hand of friendship to the Aztec. Wet and Wild. From the beaches of California. The Wild Thing with the arm drag. And the Aztec hurries. Visits the other side of the ring. Now gets a tour of the middle of the ring. Your tour director, the Wild Thing.
And you may want to not give these guys all the credit they're due because of the blonde hair, the tan bodies, the beach lingo there. But these two guys are pretty good wrestlers. Wow.
A cross body block sends the Aztec down. Small package wrapping him up.
These two guys very reminiscent of the Dynamic Dudes. Johnny Ace and Shane Douglas from a few years ago. A multicolored outfit, the blonde hair. In fact, Sunny Beach, almost a ringer for Johnny Ace.
We will see Johnny Ace in action in the tournament. He and Shane Douglas, partners no more. He'll be teaming up with Wild Bill Irwin.
What a team.
From the Aztec, apparently... I think the dust on the back, courtesy of the appearance of Muckham Singh earlier on the card at the Global Dome.
In a match that would air on Major League Wrestling, we saw Muckham Singh destroy some poor little stuffed animal, and the remnants of that activity still scattered all over the ringside area.
Steve Ray now going against Chico Torres. Torres trying to find a way to escape, but the hammerlock well in place. That's a way to escape. As Torres makes it to the ropes. Rick Manning breaks the hold. Steve Ray and Sunny Beach, Wet and Wild, tore up the competition in the UWF earlier this year.
Very much so.
And wanted to come into the Global Wrestling Federation to go after those titles. Count of one as Ray whips Torres around.
Successful in their match against Mass Confusion at the Beach Brawl in the UWF not too many months ago. And now want to move up to a higher level of competition here in the GWF. And I don't think that I blame them. They're a good-looking team.
Of course, with the tag team titles vacated by the English Lords, the tag team tournament scheduled for North America here at the Global Dome. We are seeing first round action as Torres wants to tag into the Aztec, and the Aztec's not too sure he wants to come in.
He's probably going to pull that no habla inglés line in there.
Well, with the two speaking Spanish, it would be kind of tough to pull that one. Here comes Sonny Beach. With the wetsuit, he the wet of Wet and Wild. Takes him down, putting pressure on the shoulder. Elbow. And the wrist.
With a name like Sonny Beach, did you think this guy was going to come in dressed up like a mechanic or something?
I don't think so. Steve Ray with the blonde locks. When you spend as much time on the beach as these two gentlemen do, your hair is bound to get that blonde. Torres tried the clothesline, and I don't think Sonny Beach enjoyed the feeling. It was not awesome, like, you know.
No, I don't, as a matter of fact. But Sonny Beach trying to forestall going down at the hands of that clothesline from Chico Torres.
Now the Aztec comes in to go to work on the beach. And Sonny Beach looking for sunnier skies here. The Aztec coming down on the throat. Trying to make days cloudy for Sonny Beach.
We certainly had sunny skies here at the Global Dome earlier today, Craig. Probably upwards of 95 degrees, I think, not a cloud in the sky. Boy, beats down on you out there. Nice to be in the beautiful Global Dome. Of course, it would be nice to be in anywhere with the weather outside like it is. These two guys love it, though. Can't wait to get out of this air-conditioned building and get right back out in the sun.
The Aztec with some conditioning of his own there on the chest, and now going to work. The two men from south of the border. I don't know if they come from a place like Baja, California, which is a part of Mexico, very close to the place where these guys hang out. Beach. What? Now, I have never seen wrestling boots like Sonny Beach has. Those are actual boots that Steve Ray has on. Ray, suplex, the wild thing. Takes the Aztec up and over. Brings him up. Powerbomb. Wow. Count of one, count of two, and the Aztec somehow gets up as you see the wild boots of the wet one. The Aztec sees the approaching Beach and double teaming going on.
Well, certainly the Aztec, not a proponent of the lucha libre style, not with a body like that and the brawling tactics he's using in there against the wild thing Steve Ray.
Misses that time. Ray crawls over, gets into his partner. His partner, Sonny Beach, going wild. Gets the clothesline there. Picks up the Aztec, throws him over, kind of like he'd put the surfboard into the back of the truck. Torres dispatched. Beach goes to the top rope, holding the Aztec underneath him, and down comes Sonny Beach. On the back of the Aztec. Now
Look
into the corner. Watch out. Right down on top. Wet Wild winners.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of the match, Wet and Wild.
Back to talk with the Dirty Davis brothers when we return on Supercard.